In the previous episode, we witnessed extremely strange events surrounding Eren, the leader of evil, as his seal was broken and he began to reappear with immense power. Can Eren reappear again and take control of the world? What is the story behind the raging forest filled with destructive monsters, and how will Cain deal with these creatures? And who is the Prince of Darkness that Cain will summon today? All of this will be presented to you now. The episode begins at the academy where Cain is attending. They were studying summoning magic that day, and the teacher asks about Cain. He informs her that he is present and understands that he will study alone again today, but since they won't be using attack magic, he can participate. The teacher comes specifically to teach him. Then another teacher named Grath, who usually works as a contracted sorcerer, explains that there are two types of summoning magic. The first is establishing a connection with a monster and forming a contract with it, and the second is summoning a monster from a magical circle and forming a contract with it. Cain understands his teacher's words because he has previously formed a contract with Hakuo and Gwyn, so they are already contracted. The teacher informs them that they will test their own summoning circles. Even if they manage to summon one, if they fail to establish a contract and synchronize, the monster will quickly disappear. Then the teacher uses these cards to attempt it and creates magical circles from which small monsters emerge. Each of them goes to their partner and they are very excited. Then one of them decides to use their magic to summon a monster. However, the monster turns out to be too big, and they become scared, and the monster quickly disappears. The teacher informs him that he unfortunately didn't possess enough magic to subdue it, but the fact that he summoned such a fierce monster itself is very impressive. The teacher asks him to continue training hard to enhance his magic so that he can create a contract. This boosts the boy's confidence, and he decides to train more. Then the teacher asks Cain to start, as everyone else has finished their attempts. Cain agrees and begins using his magic, focusing a lot of his magic into the circle. However, he is afraid of summoning the crazy monster that appeared before. The teacher reassures him that if he fails to establish a contract, the monster will simply disappear. So Cain decides to use as much magic as he can, hoping to summon one that Hakuo and Gwyn can play with. He draws the magical circle on the ground to summon the monster, but instead, an intense light emanates from the circle. Out of it emerges the Prince of Darkness, who asks about this place and why a human summoned him, knowing that he is the Prince of Darkness. Cain becomes very scared, and the Prince of Darkness uses a flash of magic to show that he is indeed real. In Eren's class, the Prince of Darkness also appears, and he approaches Eren after learning that Cain summoned him. Cain takes out his sword to strike him, but he becomes extremely terrified and kneels down, begging the Prince of Darkness not to kill him. He offers to serve him and be his follower. The Prince of Darkness informs him that if he orders him to destroy a kingdom, he will unleash the full power of the demon clan to execute it. However, Cain would never consider doing such a thing because he doesn't want to destroy any kingdom and doesn't need the full power of the demon clan. The Prince of Darkness understands his words and tells him that if he changes his mind, he can form a contract with him, and he can summon him at any time. Then he disappears in front of him. However, Cain is relieved because he covered up the situation, but he didn't actually cover it up since the king asked him about the person who summoned him at school. Cain tells the king that he summoned a demon, the Prince of Darkness, and the king and his aides panic because the Prince of Darkness was summoned, and it's certain that they didn't ask him to return. But Cain had actually formed a contract with the Prince of Darkness, so he becomes scared once again. Then he said to him, "If I get angry, I can destroy the royal capital in the blink of an eye." I apologized to him, Cain, saying, "When I used my magic, the circle kept pulling him in. I didn't imagine that something like this would come out of it." The teacher asked him, "How much magic do you possess to summon the Dark Prince?" The king answered, "I was trained by the first king, and his magic is embedded in me." Then Cain asked him to show them his current state. He spoke to the teacher, saying that what he sees now should not be revealed to anyone at all, considering it an international secret. He would be executed if he told anyone. Then Cain opened the case, and they were all amazed because it was immeasurable due to its power. Everyone was astonished, and the king said to him that he could destroy the world. Cain spoke to him, saying, "I will never do such a thing. I want you to treat me the same way." The king replied that if he asked him to hand over the kingdom, he would do so, and he would also give him his country to do as he pleased. If he succeeded, he would announce their engagement, and he would not accept any objections. The country could be near the royal capital, and he could maintain local governance as it is. Then we move to the palace. The girl speaks to him and asks, "Which area will you govern?" He answered that he didn't tell anyone, but it would be near the royal capital. Then an official enters, saying, "There is bad news. Garm received an urgent message from Jin in Gracia. Indicators suggest an attack by the forest monsters." Cain is surprised by what he said. Afterwards, Cain finally arrives at Jin's palace, and he speaks to him, saying that he hasn't seen him in a long time, and he is supposed to call him Baron Cain now. Then he says, "There has been a significant increase in the number of adventurers attacked by monsters in the forest during the past 2 months. Some high-ranking adventurers have been sent to investigate the matter, and the number of monsters roaming the forest has become more savage when they went out of control and left the forest boundaries. If we compare that to the records of previous attacks and the current state of the forest, it remains the same. I contacted my father and asked him to send adventurers throughout the country through the Adventurers Guild, but if all we have are indicators, we can't do more. We can't send knights and soldiers on a large scale and pretend that nothing is happening, so we will handle the matter with caution." Cain tells him to go and take a look around the forest perimeter. Jin is astonished and says, "I cannot allow a noble family's head to take such a risk." Then he sees Cain's card and is surprised. Cain says to him, "My abilities have earned me the approval seal from them, and I want your help." Cain says, "I will visit the Adventurers Guild in the city first. I need to gather information about the forest." We now move to the Adventurers Guild, where Cain has gone. However, the receptionist at the guild gave him a bad reception because he is a young child and belittled him. But she was shocked and couldn't believe it when she looked at Cain's adventurer card. It turns out his card is golden and ranked A, indicating that he is highly skilled. Just before the situation escalated, his friend Rodi quickly intervened and apologized for the misunderstanding. In their conversation, Cain informed her that he came here because the administrative officer of this town, Jin-sama, informed him about a major problem in the forest. There has been a significant increase in unidentified monster attacks, making it impossible for anyone to approach the forest. The monsters have become extremely aggressive, causing injuries and deaths. At that moment, the two girls, the teachers Millie and Nina, approached them and asked why Cain was at the guild. Cain explained that this town is his hometown, and his brother informed him recently about the large monsters in the forest. He came to the guild to gather information. Millie and Nina revealed that they came here urgently because the guild requested the presence of all high-ranking adventurers. They went to the forest and found many powerful monsters organized in groups. They are now waiting for Cain's brother Claude and his wife Lena to join them. Just then, Rodi approached Cain and asked him what he would do next. She warned him that it's very dangerous for him to go alone, and if something bad happens, it will create significant problems, and the guild will bear full responsibility. In response, Cain reassured them that he has more than one person with him. We now move to the forest, where Cain and the two monsters welcome him in an entertaining manner. Cain informs them that they will search for some monsters in this forest and tells them that the situation is dangerous. If anything happens, they should help each other. They begin their comprehensive search, but Cain soon notices something strange. As he runs, Cain realizes that he is being observed. In that moment, some monsters appear, but they are easily defeated. However, Cain becomes increasingly worried as he realizes that the situation is much bigger than he initially thought. Therefore, Cain decides to summon the Dark Prince to investigate on his behalf because his search has been unsuccessful. There seems to be something unusual happening, and he needs the Dark Prince's help in this mission. The Dark Prince informs him that there is a large amount of energy behind this forest, and he believes that this is the source of the problem. It appears that a massive number of monsters are attempting to reach this location. However, the situation is extremely dangerous as all these creatures and monsters are high level. This worries Cain because these monsters could potentially destroy the city. He then asks the Dark Prince to provide more information about this matter. The Dark Prince explains that he is unable to do so, but he has a specialized friend who can help in these matters. He begins summoning this person named Dalmatia, who is highly skilled in comprehensive search operations. However, he was amazed and shocked when he saw Cain, as the Dark Prince informed him that Cain was the one who summoned him and that he is one of the most powerful beings in this area. He is the hero who can conquer the whole world. But Cain gets angry because he doesn't want to conquer the world as the Dark Prince said, and he tells him to hurry up with the search. Then he introduces himself as one of the 7 strongest kings. Although he is retired, his skills have not diminished. After that, Cain asks him to investigate this forest, and during the search, they encounter some large red dragons. Cain swiftly eliminates them, leaving everyone astonished by his power. Then he confronts the monsters he has defeated and tells them that he will return to the village for some time to inform them about what is happening. He uses teleportation magic and leaves, leaving them amazed. The old man comments that they didn't even need to raise their swords because if they did, they would have been killed in the blink of an eye. Later, Cain goes to the guild to show them these dangerous monsters, and they are astonished because they have never seen them before. These monsters are ranked A and S, and if they entered the village, they would completely destroy it. Cain tells them that there are even stronger monsters deep in the forest, urging them to strengthen their surveillance. They then move on to the man who was summoned by the Dark Prince, and he tells us that there is something behind this place trying to frighten us. The Dark Prince mocks and belittles this man, telling him that his power must have weakened. The old man admits that he hasn't fought in a long time and fears that his strength may have diminished. The Dark Prince then asks him to go and see for himself. They go together, and they are shocked by the presence of many fierce monsters and demons entering the forest. Eren notices their presence and asks the monsters not to let them enter the country. He informs them that he will go to the forest, and they shouldn't worry because he has very powerful friends who will fight alongside him. The Dark Prince doesn't believe him, but Cain referred to him as a friend, so he dedicates his life to helping him. Suddenly, Tijuana arrives and embraces Cain, informing him that Marjorie Garm requested support from the equestrian organization. She tells him to stay and lead the knights to protect their homeland while she ensures his safety in his absence. Cain leaves with the Dark Prince, heading towards the forest. Now we switch to the old man, who easily defeats the monsters and reminisces about the past. Suddenly, a monster from behind almost attacks him, but the Dark Prince saves him at the last moment. Cain joins the fight, but the number of monsters is overwhelming, and they realize that Eren's location is very close. Eren senses them and eagerly awaits their arrival. The game has already begun. And with that, the episode ends. Stay tuned for the next episode, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell to receive all the latest updates.